Thrice the brindled cat hath mewed, thrice and once the hedge pig whined. Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time." Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone days and nights has 31, sweltered venom. Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone days and nights has 31, sweltered venom, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
We decided we would have a honeymoon in Egypt. We both knew that we had known each other in Egypt, in Karnak, about 4,000 years ago. Stuart and I, in that past incarnation, had been separated at one of the great festivals of Karnak. It was the Festival of Opet. What we did not know until that sunny new year, that festival took place on July the 19th. July the 19th was the great festival of Opet, the rising of Sirius, dedicated to the goddess Isis, and I was a priestess of Isis. With most of the patriarchal religions, they consider it's a one-off life. That was not the teachings of early Christianity. The early Christians believed in reincarnation. When we were brother and sister, the opposite sex, which I wrote down at the age of 8 years old. He wasn't born, I was born in 1950, he was not born until 1964. I had no idea he'd had this regression, so I had no idea about this name until we started talking, and I was able to show him my diary from way back then. Because when my mother had died, from the time my mother was dying, up until about 3 or 4 years later, he kept materialising as my sister, and while my mother was in hospital desperately ill, he would sit and keep me company. He wasn't even born at that stage. And the first time his mother ever met me, she took one look at me and she said, "I know you." She said, "When I was carrying Gavin, I was sworn I was going to have twins. You're the missing twin."
Now sometimes you will meet people that you're supposed to meet to learn a lesson from, because you didn't resolve the problem with them in the last life. Sometimes the lesson is to know that you have to walk away from them because you didn't in the last life, or a life before. So you meet the same people again and again.
My name's Lorraine Flaherty and I am a clinical hypnotherapist, but I specialise in more of the esoteric processes for the most part in my work. From a really early age, I was very conscious that there was more to life than the things that I was being told, and so there were many things that I saw and experienced that didn't make sense, particularly having an awareness that there was another realm, another world. Inconsistencies in the things that I was being told led me to search not just all of the different religions of the world, but to trace them back to the earliest times, and I found that there were these common themes, and the common theme was always that there were answers embedded within us that through some form of self-reflection or meditation we could get access to, and that all of the secrets were there. As I said, for me the key thing is that hypnosis is, well, partly it's very misunderstood, because actually all the state of hypnosis really is a focused state of attention. I liken the mind to being like a giant computer, and the subconscious realm is like the hard drive where all the information is stored. What we're doing as hypnotherapists is going in and making alterations to the operating centre, to that hard drive.
The first thing I would say is, look back to your childhood. Look back to the things that pulled you in your dreams or things you were attracted to in your childhood. That's vitally important.
Opening the files up and really exploring, having a good look around in there and finding out where the flaws are or the breaks, and then healing from there. Taking self into a very inward focusing space is actually hypnosis. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years. One of the biggest challenges that I face when I talk about doing hypnosis and doing hypnotherapy is this idea that people can be controlled and that they can be manipulated. And in a therapeutic setting, it's always a partnership. People are working together, so there is very little scope for that. I think the key role of hypnotherapy is bringing into balance both the aspects of particularly the divine feminine, which needs a lot of support right now, but also bringing in the balance of the masculine and the feminine within each and every person, because I think it's really important. I think we've been through a period of history where it's been very male dominated, and I think that we're coming back now, that the woman's empowerment and bringing that back into the fore is really key. But what I know is that the most important thing is to have an alignment of both.
Oh, I have been beyond the town, where nightshade black and mandrake grow, and I have heard and I have seen what righteous folk would fear to know. For I have heard at still midnight, upon the hilltop far forlorn, with a note that echoed through the dark, the winding of the heathen horn. And I have seen the fire glow, and glinting from the magic sword, and with the inner eye beheld the horned one, the Sabbath's Lord. We drank the wine and broke the bread, and ate it in the Old One's name. We linked our hands to make the ring, and laughed and leaped the Sabbath game. Oh, little do the townsfolk reck, when dull they lie within their bed, beyond the streets, beneath the stars, a merry round the witches tread, and round the circle spun, until the gates swung wide ajar, that bar the boundaries of the earth from fairy realms that shine afar. Oh, I have been and I have seen in magic worlds of otherwhere, for all this world may praise or blame, for ban or blessing, naught I care. For I have been beyond the town, where meadow sweet and roses grow, and there such music did I hear as worldly righteous never know.
She had told me that something was quite impressing, that there was a man in my life, an older man, older to me, that was trying to stop me from moving forward or achieving things. And she had told me that once this man would have been out of my life, things would then flow. In a way, I mean, it sounds quite spooky, but in a way it did manifest, because after the hypnotherapy session, something bad happened to me. I've been victim of like a tort, or you can call it an assault, or something bad that was from a man. Which, I mean, obviously, if I wouldn't have the hypnotherapy session, you would say things happen. Sometimes people come in your life and not meant to be in your life.
main difference in practice now is the internet, which means that people can find information very easily and can form communities of practice, some of which will exist virtually and some of which allow people to come together in physical space much more readily than they could have done, say, 30 years ago when I was first becoming involved in Wicca. So I think that witchcraft, in common with any aspect of human experience, is subject to changes in fashion, in media, developments in technology, and new ideas that develop. So, for example, now there are quite large numbers of people who would identify themselves as witches who are solitary practitioners, whereas someone who identified themselves as a witch 30 years ago would typically have been a member of the Alexandrian or Gardnerian streams of witchcraft. So it's a proliferation partly based on the fact that all of these systems take it as critical that humans should find their own spiritual way